Are you having fun in your business? I mean, it should be fun, right? Well, sometimes the fun gets overlooked when you're dealing with the have-tos, the complexities of being your own boss and actually running the show. It's my goal that this, the Fun Business, Fun Money podcast, can help reignite your spark of fun by providing tips, tools, insights, and inspiration so you can enjoy running your business in the simplest, easiest, most fun way possible. I'll be sharing practical tips and ideas that you can implement immediately, along with business and money mindset insights to keep you moving forward no matter what's going on around you. I'm your host, Deirdre Amies, the Fun Business and Money Coach and founder of Powered by Personality. Let's play. Hey there, and welcome back to the Fun Business, Fun Money podcast. Today is Tuesday, the 18th of April, 2023, which means this is a coaching episode. This is where we dive a little deeper into one specific idea, concept, or area of business and see how we can bring more fun and simplicity and ease into it for you. Now, I don't know about you, but simplicity is life for me. I found myself being pulled in different directions in recent months. I've been listening to various trends about marketing and visibility and showing up. And much of the focus of that, of course, is on the various channels and the methods of doing that, like the various social media platforms and reels and video and lives and all these other things, which is all fine and dandy if you've got a solid foundation in place. And I'm talking about things like clear offers, aligned pricing, and you having complete confidence in exactly what you're doing, because that's a really important part. Now, if you're not set up with a solid foundation, putting yourself out there with your offers and trying to attract new clients, that can feel really hard. Like you're doing all this busy work and you're shouting into the void and nobody is listening. I actually love the professional profile dashboard that Facebook now have on personal profiles because I can see exactly how visible each of my posts are and I can see what resonates with people and what doesn't. But the flip side of that is that it can feel really disheartening if you're pumping out the content and it's constantly falling flat or not meeting expectations. Now, there's a lot of reasons for that. I am not a marketing guru, so we're not going to go into that. But one of them is probably not that you're not doing enough. In fact, you're probably doing more than enough. It's just missing a few pieces. And that's what we're going to focus on today. We're going back to the business basics. What are the missing pieces in your business right now? And how can we connect the dots so that it all makes sense and flows like the beautiful thing that it's meant to be? Now, this is something that happened for me a few years back. I really wanted to work with this particular coach on an area of my business. She's incredible. Her way of growing and scaling is like #business goals for me. I booked a call with her, and of course, it ticked all the boxes for me. But I had to say no to working with her right then. And it wasn't because of the investment or the price, which I only found out about on that call. And I know that's a thing for a lot of people who will resist having that conversation because they don't have all of the information beforehand. And I say, live a little, book the call. You know what your budget is. And honestly, nothing bad is going to happen if you need to say, no, thank you, that's not for me right now. That's as easy as it can be. No, the reason I had to say no at that time was because I realized I had some major gaps in my business. Now, I talk about helping you to fill the potholes and gaps that your clients might trip up on. And that's exactly what I had at that time. It was like Suddenly there was this big spotlight shining on me, and I could see all the fluff and the dust bunnies and the band-aids that I'd used to build the foundation of my business to that point. Now, I'm not saying that's a bad way to start your business, even though it totally is, but I'm really glad that I also didn't allow myself to get bogged down in the perfection before I launched anything into the world. That was all I knew at the time, and I rolled along quite nicely with perfect imperfection for a decent amount of time. But once you see something, you can't unsee it. I knew I had to go and fill those gaps and potholes before I could work with this amazing coach on my messaging and my visibility. Now, most people think, and you will be told by marketing gurus and experts, that all you need to do is to be louder, be more visible, pump out more content, be more persistent and consistent with showing up. You will need maximum eyes on your stuff so that people will click to buy your thing. How about, instead of being louder, we focus on being clearer? Let's ditch the fluff and the jargon and start talking clearly about who you are, what you do, and how you help people. Because I can tell you now, that is when it starts to feel simple and easy. So I want you to take a deep breath right now and let it out. Release the tension in your body around having to be louder in order to be heard amongst all the other loud, shouty online voices. And now take another deep breath in and let it out. I want to give you a new way of thinking. And you can write this down. It's safe for my business to be simple and easy. It's safe for me to be clear and direct. Write that down and repeat it to yourself on a regular basis. One of my friends has nicknamed me Frank recently because that's how I've been handling those icky cold DMs that constantly appear in my inbox. I'm not being rude to these people. I'm being clear and direct. I simply ask them to get to the point, cut the fluff and the small talk. What do you want? And most of them respond with, oh, I want to tell you about this thing I offer. Now, doing that with like being clear and direct, that takes confidence for sure. And the best way to build that confidence and know that their offer isn't for you is for you to be clear about who you are and what you do. You'll know when you're missing something. And this is why you need a solid foundation of 3 key things before you dive into working on your visibility with marketing and using all the social media platforms. Otherwise, like I said, you're shouting into the void. The first one is knowing your own strengths, expertise, and purpose. Now, this isn't something to be humble about. It's okay for you to say, yeah, I'm bloody good at this thing. Here's how I can help you with that. Because if you're watering it down and playing it all casual and stuff like, oh no, don't want to brag, your voice will be lost amongst those other super confident, shouty, loud types. So be proud of who you are, what you know, and the impact that you want to have on the world. And don't just tell people about it once either. This is a core foundational piece that needs to be on repeat in your content and your marketing and showing up. And at every conversation, have that confidence to just say, this is who I am, this is what I do, here's how I can help you. Oh, and here's how you can get it. The second piece is knowing who your perfect for you clients are. And some people will call this your ideal client, your yes client. I kind of like perfect for you. Sometimes I say dream client. It's all the same thing. Who are you talking to? And as I say that, I remember one of my clients proudly telling me, I was so proud of her myself, that she had posted something on Facebook and one of her friends DM'd her asking her why on earth she was talking about this thing. And her response was so perfect. She said, "That post isn't for you. You're not the person I'm talking to with that one." Because she knew who her message was intended for. So your people, air quotes, your people, they're not a specific gender. They don't fall into a specific income bracket or any other kind of demographic. You don't need to know what kind of car they drive or what they do behind closed doors. You do need to understand their thought processes and what causes them to seek the help that you offer. Now, you're not working that stuff out so that you can labor on their pain points in your marketing either. They are well aware of their current situation and they don't need you poking at it repeatedly. But you can absolutely show that you understand where they're at and also know what they want instead of that. Connect the dots for them in a genuine, authentic, non-bro marketing way. You know what I mean by bro marketing. And the third piece is to know your exact process that creates the transformation they want. It's not about your modalities or a trademarked system. That's just fluff and jargon to most people. What are the exact steps that you take your clients through to get from where they are now to where they want to be? You have to map that out and see it end to end before you can take anyone else through that process and expect them to then give you a glowing review about their experience with you. Honestly, the biggest mistake that most entrepreneurs make is that they skip over points 1 and 2 and they go straight to number 3. They're not owning their expertise and they're not understanding how your life will be different after you work with them. They just want to talk about their system and their process. But in a lot of cases, they're also not clear on that either. If someone can't explain their process in simple terms, it should be a red flag for you if you're considering working with them. It's not about their modalities or techniques or the trademarked names. It's about the end-to-end process that helps you get the results that you want. So don't be afraid to say, then what? And what's the next step? How do we get there? Ask for what you want. Basically, what people want to know is, can you help solve this problem I have? That's literally their front of mind question. They don't care about most of the other stuff that you do behind the scenes, but that doesn't mean that you should skip over that part. If you're not clear on your foundations, you're going to blend in, you're going to be lost in the noise, and you won't stand out as an option for them, let alone the no-brainer choice. All your marketing and visibility efforts are literally shouting into the ether of social media because you've got gaps and wobbly bits in your business foundations. Now, the good thing is when you fill those gaps and create a solid foundation for current and future growth, instead of just winging it, you can build an authentic, confident voice. There's no need for shouty, loud anything. I'm not very good at being shouty or loud. We have to get better at talking about the overall process that creates the transformation our clients want without the fluff or lingo that very few people actually understand. And if you've ever worked in corporate, you might have come across an acronym cheat sheet, an actual list of jargon that the company uses. That stuff has no place whatsoever in your business. So how do you build a solid foundation? Don't worry, you don't need to burn it all down and start from scratch. Although in some cases, that may be the easier option. You just need to look for the gaps and the potholes. Get your binoculars out and be looking for them. What's the first thing that you do with your clients? What's the next thing? What's the next step after that? Are you missing something between those steps? I highly recommend writing each step on a piece of paper so that you can lay it out on the floor and literally walk yourself through it. Or do them on post-it notes so that you can stick them to the wall and see it mapped out. Keep asking yourself, what's next? Until you can map that process out from start to finish and actually see how it flows. That's the exact connect the dots process that I had to do on my own business when I realized I couldn't say yes to working with that coach. There were some really obvious basic things that I'd overlooked to that point and somehow still managed to get by with. Go figure. But it was a real turning point that enabled me to feel like a proper grown-up business owner as well, someone who's not just winging it. And that's what I hope for you too. That's why I'm passionate about business foundations. Now, I did end up working with that amazing coach about a year later, and it was everything that I wanted and needed it to be. And I'm still using what I learned from her now. But I couldn't have done that without tidying up the mess that I'd created in the first place. This is the foundational stuff that every entrepreneur needs to take a look at. And I don't mean just once either. I do a review of my foundations, my offers, my client processes, and everything else at least once a year, not to reinvent the wheel, but just to make sure it's still solid and serving its purpose. And this is the same process that I take my clients through before we even get to creating their offers and setting their prices, and definitely before they go out into the online world to increase their visibility. Even if you think you're good with what you've currently got, we'll do a review of who you are, your personal brand, and make sure that your personality is shining through. Everything is easier when it aligns with your personality. It's a game changer. We take a look at your niche and your perfect for you clients in a whole new way from a personality perspective, and make sure that it's like a swipe right match between you and them. And you also have to make sure it's a hot market for you with endless opportunities to sustain long-term growth. It's not just a tiny little bucket. We also refine your client framework and make sure that every step is solid, which is what I've been talking about here. Making sure that you've got a clear purpose and there's no like loose jiggly bits that might fall off or trip you up as you gain more traction. There's nothing worse than scrambling to fix something that you could have dealt with previously. You want to make your client's journey with you as smooth and easy as possible, and that'll make your own journey become smooth and easy as well. Then, that is the point where we create your Goldilocks offer, the one that I talked about way back in episode 9. So go check that out when you're done listening to this episode. The funny thing is, we get so hung up on what to charge for our work and nailing the perfect price that we think people will end up paying, that most people overlook all that important stuff that comes before it. Your pricing is actually a very small part of your business. And I promise you, it's surprisingly easy to decide what to charge when you know you've got a strong foundation in place to back it up. Don't get caught out deciding what to charge first and then trying to build everything else around it just because that's a comfortable number for you. That is the fast track to undercharging, over-delivering, and burning yourself out. And from there, you can go basically conquer the world. You can be as shiny and visible as you want without worrying that something is going to break, especially you. Ain't nobody got time for that. All of that is what we cover in Ignite, my private coaching program. If you're ready for a big shift in your business and to make it a really fun and profitable way to spend your time, reach out and let's have a chat. I have spaces available from May 2023. You can book a 3-month package, a 6-month package, or a 12-month package. The biggest difference between all of them is how much implementation and ongoing support you want and need from me. You can email hello@deirdreamies.com, or you can send a DM on Facebook or Instagram. I'm at Fun Business, Fun Money, all one word, on both platforms. So that's what I got for you today. Are you connecting the dots for yourself and for your clients in the easiest, simplest way possible so that everything flows beautifully? When you clear away the fluff and rip off the band-aids that you've slapped on to keep things rolling, where are the gaps and the potholes in your business that will let you down and trip your clients up without attention? Have a think about that. Take care, have fun with the foundations of your business so that you can go out there and be super confident in everything you do. And I'll catch you in the next episode. Thanks for joining me. If you found this episode useful, make sure you hit that follow button on your chosen podcast platform so you get the notifications when each new episode goes live and you don't miss anything. If you know someone who would also get something from it, don't be shy, share it with them. One of the best things about being a business coach for online entrepreneurs is helping them make sense of their creative ideas and turn them into a simple, clear business system that actually makes money. A client recently described me as a castle building expert. You've got the big vision and some of the building materials already, but you don't quite know how to bring it all together into a solid foundation. Then I come along and I show you the blueprint that makes sense of it all. I love that analogy. And I'd love to show you your personalized blueprint, the one that's just right for you and your clients. But I can't do that until you join Ignite, my business and money coaching program. So head on over to deirdreamies.com/ignite for all the details. Fill out the application form and let's talk about building your castle in the simplest, easiest way possible.